All right, this was 100% unexpected with zero in any way like foreshadowing. I feel like to this existence. So, what I hope that the sound upstairs doesn't get too loud. I always have to worry about certain sign vocals, side vocals, and just different audio leaking. I don't think it'll be a problem, but um, we have a game apparently. We have a new game coming for, I guess, at least for right now. For this Switch Direct that happened or Nintendo Direct, it's only showing it for the Switch. I'm guessing that this game will be on Steam. It wouldn't surprise me if it would. If it ends up only being like a Switch exclusive, I'll probably go get a Switch again for it. I'll probably just get like a one of the Switch lights. I don't need a TV Switch, or maybe I will. I don't know. Undecided. It's not coming out until I think like the winter or Christmas, so I've got months until I have to worry too much about it. So for right now, we're gonna be watching the trailer and seeing how this is all gonna go down. You can hear those small cats in the back. Got so many damn cats right now. Anyway, but yeah, a Fairy Tale 2 game. So obviously a direct sequel from the previous one that came out. I played it on my channel. One thing I'll do, I will 100% will do another playthrough of it before we end up getting this game, and I'm gonna go for all like the specific. Excuse me. You can be there for the stream. We're talking right now. You can be there for the game. Sorry, he's distracting me. But we will end up doing like a playthrough and then going for specific like goal extra things, because I know there's stuff they just never ended up doing, like getting Demolition Fist, Renatsu's Fire Dragon King moves at the end, because I was expecting there to be more DLC and there ended up not being a lot of DLC, and it just kind of made me a little bit sad for the game. And then I had other games going on that I ended up playing, but I'm actually pretty excited about this because that should mean there's probably, just based off the timing, there's going to be some like little DLC or maybe like extra secret stuff in the game that has to do with 100 Years Quest. I feel like it would make a lot of sense, especially with 100 Years Quest starting in the same year, that they're not just going we're going to do the first season 100 Years Quest as a as a mission. No, maybe just a couple things, like some cameos, like we have maybe a Diablos member, and we have like Ignia or something show up. That would be my hope. But as it were, my real things, I'm just kind of hoping that we have more characters. I really liked the game, the first one. My only thing, I feel like when it comes to the first one, is it felt way smaller than it should have been in terms of story content. Because really, I know it's already been a few minutes, but just because I know obviously the game is going to take place in in the timeline of it, because it's not Fairy Tale something where it's going to be a completely cut off story, all of it its own thing. This is a direct continuation off of the last Fairy Tale game that came out, which was a little bit of Sirius Island, which was part of the Grand Magic Games, and then Tartaros. And I really wish that they did the first parts of the game, because you could do a lot of especially the early stuff, can easily work as tutorial, just because there's so many smaller arcs that you can work in little bits. And just the characters, I felt like for the first game the character amount was good. I just hope that there's more, and we get more bad guys and stuff. And then on top of that, I'm hoping that they do, this is just another thing I hope they do, this isn't as relevant in terms of the trailer, but I'm hoping that if they're willing to do a sequel, they're willing to put extra content in it that's just for fun. Because obviously when it's the first game, and obviously this isn't the first Fairy Tale game, but it's the first one of this style, especially for a big gap, because I think the previous ones were like the DS and the PSP, and then you had obviously come out the Switch years and years later. And obviously this one did well enough that they ended up having another one, and then they believe it'll be able to get enough money. I'm hoping they do fun side stuff, like what if, like even if it's nothing crazy, it's like, oh well, what if Mistagun ended up showing up and actually fighting Josei? Like what if Laxus and Mistagun showed up and they ended up joining with Urza, ended up fighting? Or what if Mira Jane ended up getting her powers back in that arc instead, and then so you have them 4 against Josei. I would really like something like that, because then if Mishima overlooked it, you could make the same canon arguments where it'd be like, oh, if Mishima said that all 4 of them combined could almost beat Josei, that I think that would be cool, because it would give us an idea of where Josei was, because we have relatively no idea. The best we can really say for Makarov too when it comes to pre-time skip is that he's probably in that spot that Jura was at, where he's like, oh yeah, number 5, right next to the the gods of Ishgal. So they're it's just gonna, or gods of Ishgal, the emperors of Ishgal, they're just gonna do their own thing. So they're gonna just end up getting everything kind of set up and getting everything kind of just going on with that. And I feel like it would just be really cool to see what else Mishima could do with a game versus obviously the main series or a movie or something additional to anime, because you could do obviously more with the game with neat little stuff like that. What if these characters fought God Serena? What if these characters did these things just extra different, something aside in just different variations you'd ever had in the main story or was never in the anime. I think stuff like that is just really cool and just makes it a lot more just general hype. Hold on, my dog's making sound. Anyway, let's get to my dog just freaking out. He can hear people doing shit. Ooh, I'm surprised. This is a real thing. I'm surprised that we're seeing this. Obviously it's with the Nintendo Direct that it's simul-dubbed. Just hearing in English, it's so much different, obviously, than when we got the first trailer ever for the previous game, and it was in Japanese. Also, I really, really like this this art. This is a really good drawing for Natsu versus Aerith. I'm expecting it mostly just to be what we would, game footage not final. I like that, so hopefully they're gonna crisp things up a little bit. Very much looking for. I can't wait to fight all this Spriggan. Yeah, I assume it's the same thing as before, where it's a turn-based with like the whole grid gameplay, because I really like that. I really like games like that. I'm a big fan. I need to do a Baldur's Gate playthrough at some point. We're gonna play through that, just the similar games like it, because I really like it. I don't think there's anything teased after that. Yeah, so that's just what you'd expect from it. I mean, it's not even like for oh yeah, I'm hyped, there's a game coming up, we're gonna see a trailer for it, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's the trailer, you get exactly what you thought you'd be getting. It's more of, I didn't expect that we'd be getting this at all. I didn't think we'd be getting any form of sequel to the game, because like there's like, my idea in my head would be after maybe the anime comes out, and it's because obviously like, oh yeah, new anime season comes out, momentum regains, and then a bunch of backlog stuff gets bought, and then it's like, oh well, now they believe that a game is a good idea, then do it. I didn't expect for us to be getting it already. That's actually really hype. I'm really stoked to see all these things kind of run together and be in the same year span, because I'm sure that there's something else we don't know about. Maybe we'll get a movie announcement sometime this year. But I mean, we got 100 Years Quest anime in just a couple weeks. We've got this at the end of the year, and like I said, I'm going to be replaying through the first Fairy Tail game. I have it on Steam. I don't know whether or not they're gonna have this one on Steam. It just shows right now. It's just on Switch, but it's the Nintendo Direct, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're only showing the Nintendo version for right now, and we get the announcement for Steam later on. Because it'd be way easier. I have a capture card. I don't know where it is. I'd have to find it, but either way, we would just kind of run with that for right now. But anyway, other than that, I mean, I just hope that there's more characters. I mean, it seemed like everybody from the previous game, I assume, would for the most part be in this game. I'm wondering who they're going to add in. Like I said, I hope that everybody from the previous one is in this one. It doesn't look too much, I don't want to say too much different. It looks a little bit cleaner, just at least from the short footage. Like Urza looks nice. I think like with like Laxus and Natsu, especially from the what I remember with their previous models, they just look nicer. Yeah, Natsu just looks a nice little bit sharper, I feel like, in terms from what I remember in the previous game. And then, like I said, I don't need the gameplay to be like a whole new style. I'm hoping it's the same style so they can add more stuff in the game, add more characters you can add onto your roster, add more moves and abilities for the characters. I'm really hoping, and I know this is wishful thinking just because the dates I feel like are too close in terms of game production. The Fairy Tail mobile game, I'm really hoping that eventually we get a Fairy Tail like game kind of like this, or like a straight fighting game, to where I prefer this personally, but I would love a fighting game too, like a 2D fighting game. But it goes off of with the style of the mobile game for construction. And this is something I'll end the video on just because it's something I want to add in here. For anybody who's played the mobile game would understand that the way that the character like versions, because it's a gacha game, but because the way that those work, it makes sense to take advantage of those eras of different characters. For instance, just as another series, if you look at like the Dragon Ball games, some of the more recent ones versus like Budokai Tenkaichi 3, it's like you have, well, I guess really with fighters that has like all the different versions of Goku, but you know what I mean, where you have like, oh, there's 3 versions of Piccolo, but it's like, oh, the original Piccolo, well, Piccolo Jr. from the tournament, and then you have like Saiyan Arc Piccolo, and Namek Piccolo, and just the different versions, and they have that in the mobile game for Fairy Tail. So it's like, for instance, you have Gray, and it's like, oh, you have a version of Gray that's going to be in Sirius Island. He's going to be using like Gungnir and Cold Excalibur. But then you have early Gray who's using like Ice McKnuckle and stuff. And I just really like the differences and stuff like that. I would really like for them to do a game eventually that connects all of the parts of the story all into one game. I think that would be really cool, especially like after they get through this and they get like to part 100 Years Quest, they could get to some of the early stuff, because it was weird to me that they skipped over so much. Not like weird, but I feel like it was just a missed spot just because the early stuff is so much fun too. And that's an easy way that you could put in a lot of like the earlier game mechanics when like powers and stuff were less crazy in the series. And then, oh yeah, you get to later parts, and that's how you introduce other mechanics and other things through different parts in the story, yada yada. But anyway, I'm excited. I mean, why wouldn't I be excited about this? This is pretty hype. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I've been busy just kind of doing real life stuff and slowly getting videos and stuff stockpiled and prepared. And then it's like this pops up and it's like, well, I have to do this right now because I want to get this. I want to get this out there. I'm just excited that this exists and we're going to be getting this. Because like I said, if in the previous one they were willing to tease a little bit towards 100 Years Quest, and then we get, Alvarez, and then we get Alvarez, I'm willing to bet they're going to tease a little bit 100 Years Quest. It's going to depend on who it is and what they are going to have, but I imagine they would have at least a little bit of like maybe something where you can get like Ignia playable on your team. That would be really fucking sick. As well as that too, I wonder at what characters that exist too in the game already, besides like new protagonists, are going to be playable for antagonists. Like I assume Brandish is going to be playable. I'm hoping Xerath and maybe Acnologia human form will be playable, but we'll see. Anyway, other than that, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this. Did anybody see this coming? It's like, realistically, if anybody in my comments, anybody who watches this video, I should have brought this up earlier just to get the number spread of it. Has anybody had any idea this game was coming out, or like heard anything? I don't think I heard anything. I know Mishima teases stuff that he's got going on behind the scenes, but like I had no idea this was happening whatsoever, and I had never even heard of anybody bringing it up. Anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, and we'll talk about this hopefully in the comments. I'm just very interested in what other people's thoughts are about this. Bye.